tasya pragya pratishtita. Whose intelligence is fixed up? Yah sarvatra visneh. Yah sarvatra visneh. Tattat prapya shubhashubh. So, now we are dealing with, we did this also, because how does he sit? That is the inquiry, na? How does he sit?
Mataji,
We have done that
66 completed. 66 is completed.
57 we did, then we did even, yes, we did. We did even 61.
67 onwards we have to do.
Yes, 67 onwards. Now, how does he walk? That is all going on now. How does he walk? Is it? How does he walk? That answer started from 64th verse onwards. It's still going on. Because charatam is there. Charatam means how does he walk? Indriyanami charatam yanmanonu vidhiyate tadasya harati pragyam vayurnavamivambasi. As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. So, the mind is very strong. It is like a strong wind which can carry a boat away. The same way, if our mind is not focused in Lord, then it can carry away the senses. And even it can happen to a man who has a intelligence. I'll give 2-3 verses, then you all will read. तस्माद्यस्य महाबाहो निगृहीतानि सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. How to understand that his intelligence is fixed up? How does he walk? That is a question. How does he walk? How to understand that his intelligence is fixed up? Tasma, therefore, O Mahabahu, whoever can restrain the senses, nigrihitani sarvashah, he should know how to restrain the senses from the sense objects. Indriyani indriyarthebhyah, controlling the senses from the sense objects. One is restrain yourself from the sense objects. One is use the sense objects in the service of Krishna. One is just remove it. One is use it. And when you are using it, it becomes a yukta vairagya. When you're trying to just remove it becomes falgu vairagya. You start removing things, then sometimes what happens is in the in the in the course of just negating the things, when it comes to Krishna Prasad, you start negating even Krishna Prasad also, considering that to be as ordinary food. So you are using everything in Krishna's service. That is most important. So these 2 verses, Sonal, you read.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Shlok number 67. Indriyanam hi charatama yadmanonu vidhiyate tadasya harati pragyam vayurnavamivambasi. Translations and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charna Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. Purport. Unless all of the senses are engaged in the service of the Lord, even one of them engaged in sense gratification can deviate the devotee from the path of transcendental advancement. As mentioned in the life of Maharaja Ambrish, all of the senses must be engaged in Krishna consciousness, for that is the correct technique for controlling the mind. Text number 68. तस्माद्यस्य महाबाहो निगृहीतानि सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यस्तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. Translation. Therefore, O mighty armed, one whose senses are restrained from their objects is certainly of steady intelligence. One can curb the forces of sense gratification only by means of Krishna consciousness, or engaging all the senses in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. As enemies are curbed by superior force, the senses can similarly be curbed not by any human endeavor, but only by keeping them engaged in the service of the Lord. One who has understood this, that only by Krishna consciousness is one really established in intelligence, and that one should practice this art under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, is called a sadhaka, or a suitable candidate for liberation. Hare Krishna.
Next. या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्यां जागृति संयमी तस्यां जागृति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुने. Very nice verse. What is night for a normal living entity is a day, is a time of awakening for the self-control Sanyami. What is awake when the normal living entities are awake? Then the Muni sleeps. Gross sleeping time, waking up time. This is gross understanding. Like if you see, go to the, especially if you go to the Bombay side, even nowadays in Thane also, people are awake till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. They go and eat at 12 o'clock. I'm thinking how they eat that time. 1 o'clock, the hotels are, especially in the Bombays, too much. At least Thana is little better, little better. But then that time, the devotees sleep. What is morning hours for the devotees? That is sleeping hours for the normal people. 4:30, the devotee wakes up. 4:30 or 3:30, he wakes up because he has to enter the altar by 4:15. 4:30, the Mangal Aarti starts. Many times devotees, many times people ask, Mother, you don't sleep or what? भाई रात रात को क्या कर रहे हो आप? रात नहीं है भाई, that is morning hours. That is night for you, but it is morning. It is Brahma Muhurta. 3:30, the Brahma Muhurta starts. Muhurtas are divided into 3 praharas. 3:30 to 6:30 is the Brahma Muhurta. Whoever wakes up in this time is benefited. Waking up, chanting, doing the PT worship, it's really too good. So 3:30 a person has to wake up, that means he has to sleep early. That means what is awakening of the time of the living beings, that is the sleeping time. That is why he sleeps early. By 9:30 he goes to sleep. After the class, what you do? You sleep only. After hearing nice, this is a lullaby actually. Nice. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam is nice. It gives nice sleep, sound sleep. Today somebody attended the first time class in the morning. I was telling Mataji, मुझे मुझे दुनिया का peace मिला आज. I said, you must be sleeping, I thought. Somebody told me, Mataji, I attend the class so that I can get good sleep. Because whole week I don't sleep. When I come to the class, I get a nice sleep. I said, sleep. So this is one meaning. Another meaning is the subject in which a common person is disinterested. In that subject, the self-controlled is awake, is interested. That means in the spiritual matters. In the material things, a devotee, he's not interested. Those matters, interested. Gossiping, talking something mundane, which has no sense actually. Actually, if you sit and hear the talks, you'll feel like to vomit. There is no there is no sense in what they are talking. Some this gossip, some that gossip. Especially in these festivals, so-called festivals, the family comes together. And on the name of get together, they only criticize or appreciate each other, not each other, appreciate themselves only. Many times they will never know how to appreciate others, they only appreciate themselves. Or even if they appreciate themselves also, it's so disgusting. It is said, yesterday I was reading in Bhagavatam. I think you must also, you are studying Bhagavatam na, every day, Sonal? Ah. You are also there in that Bhagavatam study, Diya? You are also there. In that it is said, the ears which doesn't hear to the glories of Lord, The body which doesn't worship, the bend down towards Lord. The tongue which does not glorify Lord. What is the use? That is like a frog's tongue. It's like a snake's ear, snake hole. So what is the use of having the body which is not surrendering to Lord? So this is the meaning of this verse. Okay. We are read this verse.
Hare Krishna. Yanisha Sarva Bhutanam Tasyam
68
Jagrati
verse.
Samyam.
66th verse.
69th verse.
Read loudly 66, 2.66.
69 Mataji.
Oh, sorry, 69. Sorry. 69.
Yanisha Sarva Bhutanam Tasyam Jagrati Samyam. Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani Tanisha Pashyato Mune. What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-control. And the time of awakening for all beings is the night for the introspective sage. Purport. There are two classes of intelligent men. One is intelligent in material activities for sense gratification, and the other is introspective and away to the cultivation of self-realization. Activities of introspective sage or thoughtful man are night for persons materially observed. Materialistic persons remain asleep in such a night due to their ignorance of self-realization. The introspective sage remains alert in the night of the materialistic world. The sage feels transcendental pleasure in the gradual advancement of spiritual culture, whereas the man in materialistic activity, being asleep to self-realization, dreams of variety of sense pleasure, feeling sometimes happy and sometimes distressed in his sleeping condition. The introspective man is always indifferent to materialistic happiness and distress. He goes on with his self-realization activities undisturbed by material reaction. Hare Krishna. Mataji, while reading this, I also remembered, when Krishna was born, the Asuras were all asleep, and the other sages and everyone were awake. So it kind of reminds us of that Leela also. If I'm wrong, please correct me.
Okay. Next verse. Over, na? Your voice is not heard only properly. Haribol?
Sorry, Mataji. There is a network issue, I guess.
Yeah, over, na? Because I
Yes,
could
yes,
not hear you.
Mataji. I was just telling while reading this, I remembered Krishna's Leela where Asuras were all asleep and the sages were all happy when he was born. He took his avatar.
Mm. Yeah. Next. अपूर्यमाणम् अचलप्रतिष्ठं समुद्रमापा प्रविशन्ति यद्वत् तद्वत् कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी. Now, so much of rains come, but still ocean does not crosses its limit. In the same way, multiple desires will come, but still one should know how to control them and be peaceful. Desires will come, many desires, many thought processes. Apuryamalam achala pratishtam. Shh. Apuryamalam. Always being filled. Achala pratishtam. Steadily situated. Samudra, the ocean. Apaha, waters. Pravishanti, enter. So many rivers, they enter the sea. But still, though it is always filled, it does not cross its limit. The same way, so many desires will come. Let it come. Shantim apnoti nakama kami. One should not desire to fulfill the desire. So na kama kami. One who desires to fulfill the desires, na kama kami. One should not do that. Multiple desires will come. It will come. It will go. You cannot stop the desires to come. Neither there is a dustbin where you can put those desires. All these thought processes will come for some time. Just chant the holy name. Whatever is important to serve Krishna, just take it. Just take that much, that is enough. Okay? It's a very important verse. How the ocean, see how much rain is there. But still, ocean does not cross the brink. Anytime we have thought about it, how it does not cross. There is nothing like evaporation process is happening. Nothing now nothing is happening. The sun is only not there. Sun is there, but the heat is not there. Where the water goes then? How it is not crossing the limit? This is the greatness of ocean. In the same way, greatness of a devotee, self-realized soul is many thought processes will come. You should know how to control it. How much to take it, how much to encourage, how much to discourage. Okay. Anupama, read.
A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. Purport. Although the vast ocean is always filled with water, it is always, especially during the rainy season, being filled with much more water. But the ocean remains the same, steady. It is not agitated, nor does it cross beyond the limit of its brink. That is also true of a person fixed with Krishna consciousness. As long as one has the material body, the demands of the body for sense gratification will continue. The devotee, however, is not disturbed by such desires because of his fullness. A Krishna conscious man is not in need of anything because the Lord fulfills all his material necessities. Therefore, he is like the ocean, always full in himself. Desires may come to him like waters of the rivers that flow into the ocean, but he is steady in his activities and he is not even slightly disturbed by desires for sense gratification. That is the proof of a Krishna conscious man, one who has lost all inclinations for material sense gratification, although the desires are present. Because he remains satisfied in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, he can remain steady like the ocean and therefore enjoy full peace. Others, however, who want to fulfill desires even up to the limit of liberation, what to speak of material success, never attain peace. The fruitive workers, the salvationists, and also the yogis who are after mystic powers are all unhappy because of unfulfilled desires. But the person in Krishna consciousness is happy in the service of Lord, and he has no desires to be fulfilled. In fact, he does not even desire liberation from the so-called material bondage. The devotees of Krishna have no material desires, and therefore they are in perfect peace.
They are in perfect. What is the only desire for a devotee? Anybody can say what should be the desire or what is the desire?
Service to the Lord, Mataji? Or
Yes.
the
Service to Lord. Anybody else more? You can tell.
service to the devotees?
Yes. Should be the only desire. Dasa dasan das. Learn one shloka. I teach you. Every day morning when you open the altar, you should know this shloka. नाहं विप्रो न च नरपतिर्नापि वैश्यो न शूद्रो नाहं वर्णी न च ग्रहपतिर्न वनस्थो यतिर्वा किन्तु प्रोद्यानिखिलपरमानन्दपूर्णामृताब्धे गोपी भर्तुर्पदकमलयो दासदासानुदासः. I was taking Pujari course. This 27th I took Pujari course. I taught them this verse. This is the most important verse. Naham viparo nachanarapatir napi vesho nashutro. At the same time, apavitro pavitro va sarvavastha va yasmaret pundari kaksham antarbhaya shuchihi bhayantarah shuchihi. That also can be done. So I put the two shlokas. When you go and stand before Lord, first thing this one you should say. Apavitro pavitro va sarvavastha va. Even if I am in an unpurified state, contaminated state, or maybe purified state, oh Lord, in every state let me remember you. And remembrance to you can come only when I dissolve this I. Who am I? I should dissolve this I factor. Who am I? Naham Vipro. I am not a Brahmana. Naham Vipro. Nachanara Patir. I am not a Kshatriya. Napi Vaishyo. I am not a Vaishya. Napi Shudro. I am not a Shudra. Naham Varni. I am not a Brahmachari. Nacha Grahapatir. I am not a Grahastha. Na Vanasto. I am not a Vanaprasthi. Na Yatirva. Yatir means I am not a sannyasi. If somebody says I am a sannyasi, is wrong. Because it's only a bodily identification. Grahastha, sannyasi. Then who am I? Kintu prodyan nikila paramananda purnamrutabdhe. Nikhila paramananda, who is giving everybody the ananda. Gopi Bhartur, he is a protector of the gopis, he is the husband of the gopis, a protector of the gopis. Pada Kamalayor, Das Dasanudasa. Under his lotus feet, all the devotees are there. I am just servant of the servant of the servants of the servants of the devotees. Here only 3 times servant is there. Kulashekar Alvar speaks about. I had put today Mukundamala, just here to Mukundamala every day. I have given so many songs which I have recorded in the past. So many. So we make it a schedule hearing those. Kulashekar Alvar's Bhrutya, Bhrutya, Bhrutasya, Bhrutya. 7 times Bhrutya, 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 Bhrutya has been used. Bhrutya means I am servant. Okay. Next verse. Vihaya kamanya sarvan pumam sharati niskra nirmamo nirahankara shantim adhigacchati. How can he attain peace? Adhigacchati. Vihaya kamanya sarvan. Give up the desires for sense gratification. Sarvan. Whatever desires is there, material desires, just give it up. When a person does this, charati nispruha, how does he live? Charati, see this charati has come now. What was it? Sita pragya saka bhasha, samadhistasya keshava, tadi kim prabhasheta, kim, what is it? Last is what? Kim, charati. Charati is there, kimasita is there. And afterwards, kimasita brajeta kim. Brajeta means how does he walk? So charati also means walking. How is he walking? Charati. Still this verse is going on till here. Answer is going on till here. 64 to 71. Charati nispruha. How does he live or how does he walk? Desireless. Can anybody be desireless? No. No material desires but spiritual desires. Even if you dress also, you're dressing for Lord. So that Lord is happy when he sees you so nicely dressed before him. That's why pujaris, they go fresh before Lord. Why they dress nicely and go? So that the people say, oh, the pujari is having so, pujaris don't dress nicely. Yes, he's servant. When servant dresses nicely, what to speak of the master then? That is why devotee dresses nicely and comes. Just to give happiness to Krishna, nothing else. Others seeing the devotees, Prabhupada says, a preacher should always have a silk sari, if a woman preacher is there, in the Grahastha. And if a male preacher is there, he should, when he goes to a program, he should go in a silk cloth. This is for the Grahasthas who are preaching. You can always see that when I come for preaching in the public programs, I wear silk because that is the instruction of Srila Prabhupada. Wear pure silk. Now, pure silk are very costly. Just because our acharyas have instructed. We should wear nicely. Whenever, because silk is uncontaminated. In the silk, if suppose you have not washed the silk, still is uncontaminated. Silk is always pure. Silk is used by the pujaris when they worship the Lord. Silk never gets contaminated. Cotton gets contaminated. Silk never gets contaminated. Actually, in the festivals, they should have pure silk to serve Krishna. Because whole day service is there. And suppose in that time you have eaten something, still the silk will not get contaminated. That is why the rule is when big programs are there, Haribol, Bade Prabhu, are you hearing? Ah. When big programs are there, you all pujaris should wear silk, pure silk, not artificial silk. Because in that pure silk, because the whole day you don't have time to bar change. Again, you cannot change. Cotton, once you wore it, once you have eaten, you should wash it. But if pure silk is there and you have eaten something also, pure silk never gets contaminated. That is the only purpose the pujaris should have pure silk. And it is Srila Prabhupada's direct instruction. When big programs are there, pujaris should wear pure silk. And the preachers especially should have pure silk. Because silk never gets contaminated. Even suppose you have eaten, in the this sometimes you are eaten, you are paying obeisances. Pure silk never gets contaminated. You know what is the cost of pure silk? Just a dhoti is 10,000 rupees. It should be pure, woven by silkworms. That is pure silk, not that artificial pure silk. Artificial silk. Somebody was telling me, Mataji, you afford for nallis. I said yes. So that is the rule of Srila Prabhupada. When a preacher preaches it is written in the book, when the preacher conducts a public program, he should be dressed in a pure silk. Because why? First thing is that preacher has to enter the altar. And when many people talk, somebody comes and touches, still you have worn pure silk that has the power to keep you pure. It's uncontaminated. That is why in the south also, the pujaris, they only dress in pure silk. Even when they do home, havan, you see, they will dress in pure silk. They will remove their cotton and they will put pure silk. Because the moment you put silk, that silk has the power to purify all our contamination. That is the power. In our, how many they are following? But yes, there are preachers who go in pure silk. If you see Lal going, he will be dressed only in the pure silk. Because it is a rule of the Grahasthas. Prabhupada has put a compulsory rule. So the rule is the preachers, when they conduct a public program, because many come, they meet them. So the silk has the capacity to keep your aura very strong. That much power is there in that silk. Prabhupada is written. Otherwise, a compulsory rule. It's a rule given. Wear pure silk. Simple. It's not for beautification. It's not for anything. It's for the service of Krishna. That's why in the south also, if you see that small little girls, they wear pattu pavadai. Why they are worn? Because that has the power to keep a positive aura. There is a meaning for this. The 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 what do you call, the thread which is woven by the silkworms, that has the power to keep positive aura. I was telling today that I had 7 to 10 pure silk. My mother used to dress me only in that. Especially Navaratri and all comes, we go 10 days to houses. At that time, only silk, no other thing. Only silk, go, because you are maintaining purity also and you are giving a wonderful aura to others also. It is not for sense gratification. Generally, people think it is sense gratification. Sense gratification are the stupid saris. They just spend all this chum and all those things. So many chumkis come. That is sense gratification. There also they spend 40,000, 50,000. You see in South Indian marriages, they also spend 40,000, 50,000. but there is a purity in it. There's a lot of difference. Same 40,000 sari, the same 40,000 sari. One 40,000 sari will have purity. It will have the Krishna Kripa in that. Because it's natural. It is natural. It is naturally woven. And one is just chamka pumka and all those things. One should avoid all those clothes, one should avoid. It is not for attracting someone. You see, when you're wearing silk, you're not attracting someone to yourself. In fact, Krishna gets attracted to you. When you wear all this chamki and come, people will look at you. What is this? You see, there is a difference or not? Just see. So there is a lot of difference. It is not money. It is what is your consciousness behind an object. Vihaya kamanya sarvan. Pumans charati nispruhaha. You are not interested, but at the same time, nirmamo is mine. I am the owner. Nothing. Nirmama. Mamakaraha, ahankaraha, nirahankaraha, shantim adhigacchati. Why the devotion? The Bhakti Devi starts from Karnataka. It goes through Maharashtra, goes to Gujarat, sleeps there, goes to Vrindavan, becomes young. But to go and sleep there, Jnana and Vairagya. And then when she goes to Badri, all the three, again they are revived. So Bhakti Devi begins from south. If you really want to see what is marriage, you should go to the south. Proper Iyengar marriages, Sri Vaishnava marriages. If you see, every lady looks so sane, so wonderful, so saintly. You go to Sri Rangam even today. Morning hours, it's a compulsory rule. Every grahastha should wear a silk and then go. Because you cannot go with a contaminated cloth. Howsoever you wash, it is contaminated. But silk, howsoever you don't wash also, still no contamination. I've seen our pujaris, they come from south, they come to perform. At that time, they will be wearing some cotton. They will immediately remove. They will wear silk and then they will perform. Once I was just talking to them. Why is it that you remove this and then wear? He said, because this cloth is pure. You know, Sita Mai was given a wonderful cloth by Anusaya. That this cloth will never become Sheena. Even if you go anywhere, it will not become Sheena. That is how in this material world, what is given to a normal living entity is a silk. So that when he serves Krishna, understood why silk is worn, you should say this. A preacher should always have a silk because he has to go to altar, he has to talk to so many people. Somebody will give something, he has to put it in the mouth. You cannot say, I will not eat now. Because many people come and meet and the time you should be always. For brahmacharis also this rule is there. For brahmacharis also the rule is there. Even to such an extent for sannyasis also this rule is there. When they go in the altar, but sannyasis generally they don't go in the altar. When they go in the altar, that time their cloth will be silk. Maharaj had silk, pure silk. But it will not have a border. It will not have any border. The cloth will be silk. It's not necessary you should always have a border. It is the cloth will be silk. Huh? Yeah, if you cannot afford, what you can. If not able to afford, no problem. But generally, it is a rule. It's a rule. The temple affords them and gives them. Generally, this rule is there. It is a rule that you have to worship Lord with the silk cloth. Afford what? A person collects, gives one silk cloth. Even if it doesn't wash, also it is not contaminated. That much power it has. Especially in festivals, they recommend. Festivals you should. Okay. 71st verse. Gaurang, please read.
Vihaya kamanya sarvan pumamscharati nispraha nirmamo narahankara sashantim adhigacchati. A person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship, and is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain real peace. Purport. To become desireless means not to desire anything for sense gratification. In other words, desire for becoming Krishna conscious is actually desirelessness. To understand one's actual position as the eternal servant of Krishna without falsely claiming this material body to be oneself and without falsely claiming proprietorship over anything in the world is the perfect stage of Krishna consciousness. One who is situated in this perfect stage knows that because Krishna is the proprietor of everything, everything must be used for the satisfaction of Krishna. Arjuna did not want to fight for his own sense satisfaction, but when he became fully Krishna conscious, he fought because Krishna wanted him to fight. For himself, there was no desire to fight, but for Krishna, the same Arjuna fought to his best ability. Real desirelessness is desire for the satisfaction of Krishna, not an artificial attempt to abolish desires. The living entity cannot be desireless or senseless, but he does have to change the quality of the desires. A materially desireless person certainly knows that everything belongs to Krishna, Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam, and therefore he does not falsely claim proprietorship over anything. This transcendental knowledge is based on self-realization, namely, knowing perfectly well that every living entity is an eternal part and parcel of Krishna in spiritual identity, and that the eternal position of the living entity is therefore never on the level of Krishna or greater than him. This understanding of Krishna consciousness is the basic principle of real peace. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Next, over. एषा ब्राह्मी स्थिति पार्थ नैनां प्राप्य विमुह्यति हित्वा सामन्तकालेऽपि ब्रह्मनिर्वाणमृच्छति. The most important verse in this whole chapter. Most important verse. And this verse has been taught more nicely in the fifth canto, fifth chapter. Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha. Now, Sita Pragyasya Dochate. How a intelligent person or a self-realized person, how does he, what is his body language, how does he speak, how does he sit, how does he walk, all these things are over. Okay. Yesha Brahmi Sthiti Partha. Because he's a self-realized soul, he is situated in the spiritual, the spiritual realm, you can say, or spiritual situation. Where is he situated? In spirituality. So, Nainam Prapya Vimuyati. So that is why he is not bewildered. Sitva Syamantakaalepi. Antakalepi. At the end of life, Brahma Nirvana Mruchati. He will attain spiritual world. So now this verse has been highly misunderstood even by those who don't have understanding that Krishna has a form. So there are Brahmavadis. They think that, okay, Brahma Nirvanam. There are even Buddhists who has taken this word Nirvanam. What is Nirvanam? Shunyavadi is Nirvanam for a Buddhism. What is Nirvanam for a Mayavadi? Merging in the Supreme Brahman is the merging in Supreme Lord, or thinking themselves as God is Nirvanam. What is Nirvanam? Nirvanam, now see this Nirvanam word, if you see in the Buddhism, this is Nirvanam is there. Jainism also use this word Nirvana. What is Nirvanam for the Brahmavadis? Merging in Brahman is Nirvanam. But Brahma Nirvanam, what is this? Brahma has been very nicely explained in the fifth chapter. Titva Syamante Kalepi. At the time of quitting the body, one has to remember Krishna. Now, in this verse, it is not given only. So, Nirvanam can be used in many terms. But same thing has been given in the 5th chapter. Antakale cha mamepi smarana muktva kalevaram. Antakale cha mamepi. Remember me, Krishna says. That is why this Brahma Nirvanam refers to remembering Lord. So there was a king, his name was Khatwang. This Khatwang king, Raja Khatwang, he used to be called by the demigods. Indra used to call him, please come and help us. So he used to go and help. And he used to make them victorious also. So they were very happy. So once Indra told, you are always helping us and making us successful. So what boon you want? He said, can you tell me when am I going to leave the body? He said, next moment. What was the answer given? Next moment. Immediately he gave up all the other consciousness. In a fraction of a second, he came back to the earthly planet and he started meditating on the Supreme Lord. Not so easy. Somebody tells us tomorrow you're going to die, and next moment you're going to die. So many thoughts come, isn't it? But even Bhishma Pitamaha, when he left the body, he just gave up all the thoughts, only focused in Krishna. Without us also, everything happens. The world is not going to stop. Without us also, all the things are in the proper place. So many thought processes happen, the body is not able to live. My mother always says, when am I going to die? When am I going to die? I went and met her. She said, when am I going to die? I said, you first remember Krishna nicely. Krishna knows when to take you. At that time also, I have this much gold, that much gold. I thought your thought process is in gold only. So it's not so easy to quit the body. Today also she was telling me, I have so much of gold. I'll give you also. I said, I know it's anyhow going to come. By default, it is going to come to the children. We are only 2 daughters. By default, your money is going to come. You don't have to put so much of thought processes. Now, when the time is there to quit the body, you want to quit the body or you don't want to quit the body. You want to live more, Krishna will give you more life. It is up to you how you have to take up this last stages. It's very much important. We don't know what consciousness we'll be having, but still, when we are seeing others, at least we should learn that it's not so easy. I remember my father last year, he went 30th June. 24th itself, he started giving up all. Means he knew that in this 1 week, Enya is a very great devotee, always waking up 4 o'clock in the morning. Very wonderful devotee. Every day he used to teach us Krishna Katha. Such a nice devotee. And the last 6 days, he just left everything. My sister was asking, are you remembering? Will you remember me? Will you remember Akka? No. I don't want anything. I just want the lotus feet of Lord. This is what is the word he used. So that is how a person just gives up all the attachment. He's my daughter, he's my this, that, and that. All has to be removed. Then only a person can easily go back home, back to God. Even going to the upper planets also, one has to come in this consciousness. Then only a person can go to the even upper planets. What to speak of Vaikuntha, even upper planets. So this is very important. Esha Brahmi Siti Partha. Be situated in transcendence when you are alive. When you are quitting the body, remember Krishna. Is more important. Okay, last verse. Mana.
Yes, Mataji. I will. Hare Krishna, Mataji. एषा ब्राह्मी स्थिति पार्थ नैनं प्राप्य विमुह्यति स्थितवास्यमन्तकालेऽपि ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं रक्षति. Translation. That is the way of the spiritual and godly life, after attaining which a man is not bewildered. If one is thus situated even at the hour of death, one can enter into the kingdom of God. Purport. One can attain Krishna consciousness or divine life at once within a second, or one may not attain such a state of life even after millions of births. It is only a matter of understanding and accepting the fact. Khatwanga Maharaja attained this state of life just a few minutes before his death by surrendering unto Krishna. Nirvana means ending the process of materialistic life. According to Buddhist philosophy, there is only void after the completion of this material life. But Bhagavad Gita teaches differently. Actual life begins after the completion of this material life. For the gross materialist, it is sufficient to know that one has to end this materialistic way of life. But for persons who are spiritually advanced, there is another life after this materialistic life. Before ending this life, if one fortunately become Krishna conscious, he at once attains the stage of Brahma Nirvana. There is no difference between the kingdom of God and the devotional service of Lord, since both of them are on the absolute plane. To be engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord is to have attained the spiritual kingdom. In the material world, there are activities of sense gratification, whereas in the spiritual world, there are activities of Krishna consciousness. Attainment of Krishna consciousness, even during this life, is immediate attainment of Brahman, and one who is situated in Krishna consciousness has certainly already entered into the kingdom of God. Brahman is just the opposite of matter. Therefore, Brahmasthiti means not only on the platform of material activities, devotional service of the Lord is accepted in the Bhagavad Gita as the liberated stage. Therefore, Brahmasthiti is liberation from material bondage. Srila Bhakti Vinoda Thakur has summarized the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita as being the contents for the whole text. In the Bhagavad Gita, the subject matters are Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. In the second chapter, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga have been clearly discussed, and a glimpse of Bhakti Yoga has also been given as the contents for the complete text. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purports to the second chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of its contents. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay. So Radha Ashtami is there on Sunday. So Diya, you should also come. Sudha Mataji, try to come. So anyhow, Sonal Jai Shri, they are in Thane only. Gaurang, are you going to fly from US and come? You celebrate there only.
Really, Mataji.
Celebrate Radha Ashtami over there. Happy Radha Ashtami for everyone. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhya Shakpa Sindhu Devacha. Patidanam Pavani Devashti. Krishna की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय।